Hi, everyone. We'll get started in just a minute. And just a note, you are not automatically muted. So if you want to go ahead and mute yourself, we will have time for questions at the end. But if you want to go ahead and mute yourself now, that would be great. Okay, well, it is almost 2 after 12, so we will go ahead and get started. I think it's still 12:01. So welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. And welcome to the semi-annual report training for the SSBCI Technical Assistance Grant Program. We will be recording this session and will provide the slide deck from this presentation to all participating jurisdictions after this meeting. Next slide. For anyone who hasn't yet met me, my name is Carmen Reed, and I am a policy advisor with Treasury. I work with my colleague, Terry Riley, on the SSBCI TA program. Since Terry is currently on her way to our SSBCI Western Regional Conference, I'll be heading up this presentation today. And I'll start by going over the basic requirements of semi-annual reporting, and then I'll pass it over to my colleagues, Mitch Faber, who will review the template, and Jay Flowers, who will go over submission in the portal. They'll then hand it back to me, and we will answer any questions that you have, or at least try to. Today, I will talk about the basics of semi-annual reporting, what it is, when these reports are due, and who needs to submit. Mitch will go over the template itself and will show you how to complete the report. Jay will then show you how to access and submit the report in the portal. We'll conclude by sharing links to additional resources and leave time for any questions that you may have. Next slide. So let's talk now about what the semi-annual report is and the information that will be collected on it. The SSBCI TA grant program, again, if you are not muted, if you can go ahead and mute yourself. Perfect, thank you. So the information that will be collected on the form, anyway, so we'll talk about what the report is. So the SSBCI TA grant policy guidelines and reporting guidance require that TA grant recipients must submit an SF-425, which is also known as the Federal Financial Report, or FFR. This must be submitted semi-annually, and it contains cumulative information. So the report will kind of grow as your grant progresses. Information collected through the SF-425 will be submitted through the SSBCI portal to meet the reporting requirements of the program. Specifically, the report has data elements to report on certain data, and this includes the recipient and award identifying information, which can generally be found on your award documents, reporting period information, and finally, perhaps most importantly, the report requires information about the use of TA grant program funds, including total amount authorized, expenditures, and indirect costs. And next slide. Now let's talk about reporting periods and their corresponding due dates. For the first report, which is due January 2nd, the one we're talking about today, you will be reporting on the period from the start of your grant, as specified on your TA grant agreement, until the reporting period end date, which in this case would be September 30th. Reporting periods are the 6-month periods ending with March 31st and September 30th. So this time you'll be reporting on the period from the start of your grant to September 30th again. For the rest of your grant, you will be reporting on the 6-month reporting periods listed on the slide. Semi-annual reports are due to Treasury by the final day of the next month following the end of the reporting period. These due dates are listed on the slide. again, and keep in mind that because we delayed the submission of the first report again is due on January 2nd, 2024. Next slide. Let's talk now about who needs to submit a semi-annual report. As we discussed on the last slide, per the SSBCI TA Grant Program Reporting Guidance, each recipient must submit to Treasury a semi-annual report for the first partial reporting period following the execution of the recipient's grant award agreement and twice annually thereafter until the end of the period of performance. As we will show you in a coming slide, recipients can download a copy of the SF425 and the corresponding instructions within the portal. Once completed, you will need to upload, certify, and submit the completed report within the submission window, which begins the first day after the end of each semi-annual reporting period that we reviewed on the last slide. For example, for the reporting period that ends on September 30th, 2024, the submission window will open on October 1st, 2024, and reports are due on October 31st, 2024. Next slide. Finally, let's talk about who can access and submit the semi-annual report. There are 3 roles within the Treasury portal that have a role in accessing and submitting the semi-annual reports. These roles are specific to SSBCI TA. The account administrator is able to view and download the template. The account point of contact is able to view and download the template as well as upload the report. Finally, the authorized representative is able to do all of the things that the other 2 roles can do, as well as certify and submit the report. If someone other than the SSBCI TA authorized representative navigates to the certification and submission page, they will see a message that only authorized representatives may submit. Please note that the authorized representative role, as it is listed on this slide, is a role within the SSBCI reporting portal. This is not the same thing as the authorized representative on the grant agreement, and you must specifically designate the authorized representative for the grant within the portal. Now I will pass this over to Mitch, who will review the SF425 template itself.